life, sweet life, sweet life, sweet life, a sweet.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be making chocolate covered Rice Krispie treats, but we're going to be doing them in a Cakesicle mold. And I was getting ready to make them and I was like, I should record this. So I went and got my camera, and so I'm gonna show you guys how I make it. So you're gonna need a Cakesicle mold. I got this from Amazon. It's actually a set of 2, so it makes 6. I think it was like $10, and it came with these sticks: Rice Krispie treats, wax paper. I just use a butter knife to mix my chocolate, a knife, whatever you want to decorate them with. I'm using sprinkles, a scraper, and chocolate. We're gonna use red chocolate. So first thing I'm gonna do is actually cut the Rice Krispie treats down to the size of the mold, because they're actually bigger than the mold. So we're gonna cut those down first. We're gonna need right now is a piece of chocolate, the Rice Krispie treats, and the wax paper. And I'm actually making these for my son's birthday party this weekend. So I'm gonna open the Rice Krispie treats. And you can use homemade Rice Krispie treats if you want. You can do them with different color marshmallows, however you want to do them. I'm just going to use store-bought ones because it's the quickest and the easiest. Okay. So what we want to do is we're going to measure these to fit into this mold. And a lot of you may know that this mold is usually for cake pops, like for Cakesicles. But I actually saw online that somebody used these to put into this mold, and I thought it was cool, so I tried to make them, and I actually was successful at making them. So I figured I would record me making them. Okay, so as you can see, the Rice Krispie doesn't fit in there. So what we need to do is kind of measure. And as you can see, it's the right length. Still a little bit too wide. So as you can see, now it fits in there. And so we're gonna do that with all of them. So now that I have the size of this one, I can kind of use it to measure the rest of them. So now we have 2. One more. And we have 3. And they all should fit inside the mold like this. And you can actually kind of spread them out a little bit. so they're a little bit flatter. You don't want them to be the exact same size, only because you need to cover them in chocolate. And so if you get them too close to the actual edge, it'll give you a really thin layer of chocolate, and then they'll crack on the side. So you want spacing around them. You want to have some spacing around them so you can create like a thick barrier around them. Because if you try to get it, I know, you can make it a little bit more, like if you want it to fit a little bit more, yes, but you need to leave space around, because remember, you have to cover this in chocolate. And if this is touching the side, then you're not going to be able to get enough chocolate in there, and therefore they're going to crack on the side. So you can get them a little bit more in like that, but that's about it. Like if you want to just get it a little bit more around the edge or the bottom, you can fill them in a little bit more if you want. But this is how I do mine, because it gives me that thick chocolate layer around it, and then they don't crack. And then also, because you're going to insert the stick here, you want to make sure you have a pretty sturdy base on it, because you're going to have to fold this to pop them out. So if you don't have enough chocolate, it's literally the Rice Krispie is going to like separate from the chocolate. So give yourself a little bit of room so you can fill in with the chocolate. So that's the first step. The next step we're going to do, I know when you're doing the cake pops like this, that they actually, you put the cake mixture in first, and then you just stick the stick in, but that's because it's soft and you don't have to worry about it messing up your chocolate. But because we're using Rice Krispie treats, you want to put the hole in it first, so it already gives you that hole for when you go back in. Because if you see how I have to push it, this is a new mode. You see how I have to push it? Like you need a little bit of force to get it into the Rice Krispie treat. And if you do that when the chocolate is in, you see how it folded, the chocolate will separate and it might crack. So that's why you want to kind of get the stick in there, and you want to kind of move the stick around a little bit to give yourself some room. And then you want to do it again. Get the stick in there and kind of move it around. Get the stick in there and kind of move it around. So now when you go back to put the sticks in there, the hole is already there for you. So you won't have to press down so hard to get it in there and like squeeze it, and it'll actually mess up your chocolate. So that's the next step. The next step is going to be melting our chocolate. And this is the consistency that you want. I melt my chocolate in the microwave. You can melt yours over the stove, or if you have like a chocolate, I know, I think, is it Wilton or somebody makes like a chocolate warmer or heater or something like that, but I do mine in the microwave. And I melt it down with paramount crystals or coconut oil. And for this amount of chocolate that was in there, I used a tablespoon of paramount crystals. And so this is the consistency that I got. So I just stir it, and I like to use this bowl. As you can see, I have a kitchen towel because it keeps the chocolate warm longer. So that's why I like to use this bowl. Okay. So now, we're gonna put chocolate in each cavity. Say like 2 tablespoons in each cavity. And then we're gonna move it around. What we wanna do is we want to coat the whole all the bottom and the sides is what we're trying to do. So just keep moving it around until the whole thing is coated. See, I should have used a different color so you probably could see it better, but these were gonna be red and the mold is red, so it's probably hard to see. And so after you have all the sides coated, we're gonna put the excess back into the bowl. And then we're just gonna use our, if you don't have a cake scraper, you can just use a butter knife. Okay. And so once we got that, once we got the sides all coated, we are going to put this in the refrigerator for about 10 minutes and let it set up. Okay, so now they're out of the refrigerator. You see they're hard. And we're going to do another coat. Of chocolate. Okay, so the first time I tried these, I only did it with the one coat, like the one base coat. And what I noticed was that the chocolate was really thin around the sides. And so that was my first test batch. So then the second batch that I did, I put a second coat before I actually put the Rice Krispies in there. And I saw a big difference. And it was so much easier to get them out. The chocolate around the side was a lot thicker. And it just gave me a better overall result. So that's why I'm doing a second coat. And again, we're gonna get the excess out. And like I said, if you have a cake scraper, you can use your cake scraper. If you don't have one, they literally sell these at like Walmart or Amazon for like $4. So if you plan on making a lot of these, I would say it's easier because you see you can do it in just one swipe with the cake scraper. I'm gonna put a little bit more in this one because I see you can kind of see around the edges when the chocolate is thin. And sorry, like I said, I wish I was using another color so you can like really see. Okay. So we want to even it out. So now we got 2 layers. It's gonna go back in the fridge for like another 10 minutes. And then we'll be back. Okay, so we're back. And the second layer has hardened up. They were in the fridge for like 10 minutes. So now it's finally time to put the Rice Krispies in there. So like I said, we're just gonna put them. And so the thing is, now they might have to be a little bit more narrow than they were because you have chocolate around the sides. And that's why I told you, don't make your Rice Krispie treat so big because then you won't have any space around the edges. So now you see they fit perfect because they got chocolate around the edges. So now what we're gonna do is fill it in with chocolate. Make sure you get down in those edges, those crevices. Oh, wait a minute. We're gonna put the sticks in. My bad. Okay, so now that we got the sticks in, now we're gonna fill them up with chocolate. Make sure you get all the sides where you have all that extra space. You wanna fill all that up with chocolate. Fill in all the extra gaps. And then I tap them because you want the chocolate to fall down. You want to get the excess chocolate off so it doesn't drip all over the place. But you still want to make sure you get the chocolate down in those crevices. And I'll just push on it a little bit just to make sure that you done filled in all the holes. Now I use my cake scraper to get the excess. And as long as you get it all filled in, you can always clean them up later. But this, you have to make sure you get all the spaces filled in. If you push on it, you'll see the spaces start to open up. Okay. Let's go through and get the extra chocolate out. Make sure, like I said, all the holes are filled in. Okay, so after everything's filled in, these will go back into the fridge for another 10 minutes. Okay, so I just took them out the fridge. They were in the fridge for another 10 minutes. And now we're gonna carefully take them out. So the way you take them out is you pull down on the sides. And then you have to gently push it up to release it. And once you get it almost all the way out, you push the stick up, but be careful that you don't crack it. And this is what you end up with. Like I said, we can clean up around the edge, but this is what you end up with. We're gonna do the next one. You gently push it up. Once you get it almost all the way out, gently push the stick up and it'll pop out. Last one. Gently push up, and once you get it almost all the way out, push the stick up and you get it out. Okay, so these are what you end up with. And like I said, we could easily clean them up around the edges, but we just wanted to make sure. I'd rather put too much chocolate around the edge so I know that it's sealed, rather than to not put enough, and then when you take them out, they have holes in them around the sides. Like, you see, these have no holes around the sides. They're completely sealed all the way around. So I don't mind having that extra chocolate when I take them out, because I can easily trim that off. And what I do, I have a very sharp pair of kitchen shears that I literally just carefully and that's how you clean it up. So I literally just take a really sharp pair of kitchen shears and I just clean up. And just clean them up. And I don't mind doing this because I rather that they be completely sealed around the edge rather than me trying to get the chocolate off perfectly and then I scrape too much chocolate off and then now I have holes. Okay, so then you end up with perfect Rice Krispies. Okay, so the last step is going to be to decorate them. Like I said, I'm just gonna decorate mine's really simple with a little drizzle and then some sprinkles, but you can do whatever you want. You can add flowers, you can add images, you can add pearls, you can add whatever, fondant detail, whatever you want. It's literally a blank canvas. You can do whatever you want to do with it from here. But going along with my theme is I have a red and blue theme and stars. So I'm literally just gonna add some drizzle and stars and I'm gonna show you how I do that. So I like to do my drizzle and all of my like chocolate drips and drizzle with like small Ziploc bags. I literally get these from Dollar Tree. You get 38 of them for $1. What I like about them is I can put a little bit of chocolate in it. I can do my drizzle and I throw it away. Whereas if you use a squeeze bottle or anything else, then it's extra stuff to wash. And if you do treats or you do cakes or anything, you know it is a pain to wash chocolate out of dishes and everything because chocolate has an oil base to it, and especially when you melt it down with more oil, it is such a pain. So if any less dish that I can wash, I love to just put exactly what I need in here. I use it, I cut the tip, squeeze it, and throw it away. Literally, easy, done. So I always keep these on hand, and they're the snack size. And I use these for my drip cakes. If you watch my Shimmer and Shine cake tutorial, and you see me dripping the cake, I'm using one of these bags. Literally, I fill it up halfway, and I know that that will do the drip all the way around the cake, and it's usually all done. I throw it away. I don't have to wash those squeeze bottles, any of that, and I can cut the hole if I want really skinny drips, or if I want a really skinny drizzle, I can really control it. So this is what I like to use. So just fill this bag up with chocolate. Not fill it up, but I'm gonna put about 3 teaspoons in there. Literally just clean off the excess with a napkin. And what I do is I open it up to get air in it. Don't zip it up yet, because you'll get too much air in the bag. Push it all the way down, then squeeze all the air out. So you literally just have the chocolate and no air, like that. Then you zip it up, pull it all to one side, and now I have a squeeze bag. And so with these, I want my drips to be fairly skinny. So I literally, and what I like about these bags too, is they're flat. If you get the Ziploc bags that are like folded on the side, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but some Ziploc bags are not completely flat. They have, I guess for them to expand, they're like folded on the side. If you try to cut those, you won't get the same. It has to be a completely flat Ziploc bag. So then you can cut whatever size. I just cut a tiny hole. And I kind of massage my chocolate to get it ready to go. I also get my sprinkles ready to go, because these drips, oh no, wrong thing, I wanted the stars. These drips dry really fast. So I'm actually gonna do one by one over the bowl, so I can catch the excess. And so what I do is I like to do them in like a diagonal, in just a back and forth motion. And like I said, they dry fast, so you want to get your sprinkles on there fast. Then we'll do the next one. I do a back and forth motion. Make sure you go all the way across, because if you don't go all the way across, you're gonna have loops. And you get the sprinkles on there. And then do the last one. Same thing, all the way across. Get your sprinkles on there. And there we have it. So guys, here we have it. These are the final product. I think they're pretty easy. If you follow my instructions. If you have any additional questions, feel free to ask me a question in the comments below. But this is our final product. And like I told you, I made the blue ones yesterday. That was my second batch. So the red ones that I just made for you guys are actually my third time making them. So I think they came out pretty good. And I'm excited to see you guys try them with different colors, different themes, different detail. But here we are. This is a nice twist to the Cakesicles, actually Rice Krispie treats. And that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and most of all, subscribe to my channel. Bye.
Sweet life, sweet pie.